Starscream here, and I am the Lord and Master of the GeekCast Radio Network. Don't tell Megatron.
Cliffjumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, ToyCast. Oh, yes. Listen in to the only toy podcast you will ever need.
Shut up.
That was Bob. I didn't do it.
Kill the Mogwai.
I didn't do it.
He totally did. Liar.
This is another special episode of ToyCast. Yes, that's right. We're doing another special one. We have yet to be able to schedule episode 97 with Optibotimus and Spada because neither one of them answered their fucking emails. Anyway, I am TFG and Mike, and joining me is Slime Blower Bob. Hello.
Hello.
And Optibotimus. Hello.
Yeah, I was like, when you were doing that whole little bit right there, I'm like, does he know that he can talk to me right now?
Yes,
and
I
not
know.
have to worry about
That's not the point, dumbass. That's not the point.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we are here to get into toy reality television shows.
We drink a lot of beer. What?
No, we're not drinking beer yet.
Oh,
I wish I could drink a beer.
That's the only part of what I just said that you heard.
I've been drinking water for the last 20 days. All right, so Paul messaged me on Twitter the other night saying, hey, I want a podcast about these toy collection reality television shows. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to, Paul, before we get into the actual topics?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Not drinking beer. No, yeah, that's true. I'm lying. Nothing really. I mean, I've been pretty boring lately.
You've been what?
Boring.
Oh, well, that's what happens when people live in California. There's nothing exciting going on out there.
It's been really hot out here. I mean, yesterday I think we were having like brownouts because California sucks when it comes to like energy conservation or something. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But like last night the lights were flickering and I'm like, oh, this is bad. So we got all the candles out and everything. We were ready to lose power, and then it never happened. Stupid. But that's about it.
So what about you, Bob? What about Bob? What's going on with you, sir?
I'm sailing. I've been on vacation.
Blanking all over the place.
I'm a sailor. I sailed. Ahoy. I sailed.
Oh, God.
I'm a sailor. Ahoy.
Stop it.
I've been on vacation for 10 days now.
Oh, really?
Bob's been on vacation.
Yeah, I still got, tomorrow and the weekend, and I just been doing a lot of, recording and toy reviews.
Awesome.
Finally got all the Ninja Turtles, the whole first wave, and put one up today of Shredder, so...
Ugh, that figure sucks.
It's not really that bad. I don't really mind it. Just because he doesn't have any articulation in the knees, I can live with it.
That's the problem with the non-turtle figures for the Nick part of for the Nickelodeon versions is that the villains have no articulation.
Yeah, but I'm happy that they focused on the turtles though, yes. which is good because that's where they should have put the money to make super articulated figures. I'm happy with that. I mean, it sucks that the other ones aren't bad, or they're not that bad.
But bad guys.
Yeah, and the Foot Soldier's actually pretty decent.
Well, and they're a lot better articulation than the old school ones. Even the classic runs and stuff. So I'm happy to have anything on the bad guys.
Well, can Shredder's? Because it's been a while since I've seen the videos. Can his arms move at all?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, as long as his arms can move, that's all that really matters. Because I mean, hell, even in the old version, that's really all you needed was his arms to move. Because the legs on the old turtles, that's what really sucked.
And his legs are on ball joints. I mean, they go back and forth and up and down and all that stuff. They just don't bend at the knee or the foot.
Yeah, they just don't bend.
I really think that the worst figure is probably the Krang, which
right. I agree.
I mean, that's really the worst one of all.
I mean, Krang,
he doesn't even stand up.
Well, right, but
Oh,
the
yeah,
problem
you
with
can't.
the problem with Krang in his little compartment body, not the big drone body, but the little compartment brain body thing, is that that's all it is. It looks like something out of freaking Star Wars or something, one of those little droidy cars. That's what it friggin' looks like to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. If you
read the original comic books, it looks like that.
Shut
Oh,
up.
give me my bottle. Oh,
So,
sorry.
but that's the thing. Like for me, Krang in general, unless his brain is in the stomach of that android body, I don't care about Krang.
Well, see, that's where you're screwed up in the head.
Anyway, let's get on with the topic. So first up, we're going to talk about Jordan what the hell is it?
Just call him Jordan asshole.
Jordan Henbarow's Toy
sorry.
Hunter. We'll be back after you hear a clip of that.
Hey, remember when you lit your toys on fire? Or how about when you launched your spaceships out the window? Awesome. Well, it might not be so awesome after you watch Toy Hunter. They could be worth big bucks. Meet Jordan Hembrough. Buying and selling vintage toys is his business.
17,000. These may be toys, but this isn't child's play.
Toy Hunter, a new series, premiering August 15th.
Only on Travel Channel.
We are back, and yes, we are talking toy reality television shows. I think there is a third one coming up. I forget what the name of it is, but today we're going to focus on Toy Hunter and Collection Intervention. First up is Toy Hunter. I first found out about this from my buddy Jason Duvall from Toy World Order. He is actually friends with Jordan.
Like seriously? Like he actually knows him, or just?
Yeah. No, he's got the guy's phone. He's talked to the guy. He's got the guy's phone number, all that good stuff.
Before the show ever aired.
Before the show ever aired, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So Jason knows him, and that's how I found out about it. I saw the pilot or the premiere or the teaser or whatever the hell that episode was way back when he was last year when he was planning on going to New York Comic Con. And it specifically states in that he is a buyer and seller of toys. It doesn't say that he's anywhere in there. I know he's a collector. I'm sure he is. But it doesn't say that he is out to buy these toys to collect them for himself. He is a buyer and seller of toys.
Right.
So the pilot episode, I liked it. I just found a lot of things very inconsistent, and he made a couple of mistakes. In the pilot, he says that Thundercats ran from 85 to 89. That's not... technically that could be true, but the way that the show is documented online, it ran from 85 to 87, 2 seasons.
Right.
So that's just a little nitpick. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I thought that, for me, a lot of people say that he was lowballing people or he was ripping people off. I didn't see that, because when they showed the figures of, he bought it for, say, $150 and he'll probably sell it for $225. He's not making that much of a profit, from that, whatever that one piece is. I didn't mind it. Now that it's become, instead of Toy Hunters, it is now just Toy Hunter.
Right.
And instead of him going in the pilot, he went to like the Kenner people's houses. He went to industry people that used to work at the toy companies, whereas now he's going to more so just people that he knows that have collections.
Right.
And what I like about it is that he, instead of him saying, I'll buy this from you for, and then gives them an amount, he asks them, what are you willing to let this go for? What is your amount that you would have to sell this?
Yeah, that's a strategy that if you watch like shows like Pawn Stars or Pickers, that's a strategy. Always when you're buying stuff. This is one thing I've learned watching these shows. When you're a buyer, you ask them what they want, and then you negotiate from there. You don't start off with what it's worth. You start off with what they expect to get in their mind, because a lot of times they don't know. One thing I will say about Jordan is I do appreciate when something is really undervalued from the seller. Mm-hmm. He kind of is like, I got to be honest with you, you know, this thing is really actually worth this.
Yeah.
Which I dig that, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wasn't able to catch the first 2 episodes. I caught the latest one that came out this past week, or this week rather.
Last night.
Yeah. I caught that one and I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I think the thing for him is, outside of the fact that he is a buyer and seller, is that he just likes seeing what people have. I mean, you see him diving over stuff because he'll see like a vintage Superman figure, you know. And I know it's reality television, and I know that it's staged it's scripted to a certain point, and that's all well and good. I just have a real problem with him getting a lot of his facts wrong.
Well,
as far as like when he said about like when Thundercats aired, or when it, you know, when certain, that's, I mean, not so much about the toys, not so much about the buying and selling of the toys, but just like, oh well, this franchise ran from this to this. No, it did not. That's really my only issue with the show. I like it. It's cool. It's decent. I don't know where he's gonna take it though. Me personally, I'm not sure, because this past week he was buying these, or last night he was buying these toys, and he took them to a random auction.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why are you taking them to a random auction house when you should be taking them to like toy shows, like even small toy shows? I'm not saying, right, you know. I'm not saying every episode has to lead up to a Comic-Con or, you know, whatever, but don't just take them to a general auction house, because you're not going to have... Because I listened to Dave and Duvall. Duvall is the one that knows him.
Right.
They talk about auctions and auction sales and all this and all that all the time on their podcast. And to me, a general auction house is not going to... It might have 1 or 2 collectors. I know Duvall goes to auctions and sales all the time. And there's maybe in his area, there's 3 or 4 people that show up that are collectors. But in general, a regular, just plain old auction, no one's going to show up for a...
No. Yeah, I mean, you need to have something be a whole lot more specific, if you ask me. My problem... I have a couple problems, and
okay,
you mentioned you know how he's generally wrong with his facts and stuff, and you know, he's been doing this for years. From everything that we're led to believe, Jordan has been doing this for years. Then, if that's the case, he should know that it's dark side, not dark seed.
Yes, that was
that one. As soon as I heard that, I had no idea what he was talking about. I was playing on my iPad at the same time and just kind of listening in the background.
Yeah.
And every now and then I would look up, and he had, you know, this old. I don't even remember. It was Kenner.
It's a Kenner Canadian version of the Dark Side Destroyer.
Yes, thank you. But he kept calling it the Dark Seed. So I didn't even bother looking up. I'm just playing on my iPad. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then I look up and I'm like, whoa, dude, check that out. I knew what it was. And I'm like, and he kept calling it Dark Seed. I'm like,
I think it's,
you know, Dark Side is not a very obscure character in the DC universe. I mean, if you follow the DC universe, you know who Darkseid is.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just aggravating me. I mean, he should know.
Yes. Well, there's the
no
fact
excuse. There's no excuse for that.
Okay, I'm not totally trying to defend him. Yes, he should know, but I can see where he would, you know, make the mistake of that, of the pronunciation, because it is spelled S-I-E-D.
Yeah, but I would understand that if it came from somebody who doesn't follow Superman.
Yeah.
But I would understand that. But somebody who is a toy collector, who's a toy hunter as he is, who should know history. I mean, he's going around teaching us history of these toys.
Yes.
Yet he can't get one of the I mean, in the grand scheme of Superman, there's like 2 characters that I ever only thought could kill Superman. One did kill Superman. That was Doomsday. And the other one is Darkseid.
Well, before we have people screaming at their iPods, there are technically 4. There's Doomsday, Darkseid, Brainiac, and Luthor.
Yeah,
Now, Luthor generally won't. He wants to kill Superman, but
he
almost
can't.
every incarnation, he usually fails.
Yeah, I'm saying people. I mean, well, okay, maybe Brainiac, but even that one's a little bit more of a stretch for me. But in my opinion, the two characters that, in my mind, could kill him if they actually really tried are Darkseid and obviously Doomsday. I mean, right. I don't think the other ones, Lex Luthor, he could try all he wants. It's never going to happen unless he gets super.
Right.
But I mean, that's just my opinion. But I mean.
He and Brainiac have a whole history because Brainiac was
but I mean, the ones who like if they just sat down and it's like if they took Lex Luthor's brain and put it into these people, like Darkseid or I don't even want to say Doomsday because Doomsday was a mindless retard who I shouldn't say retard. I'm sorry. But he was a mindless nothing that was able to kill him. But I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is a main character. This is a main dude in the DC universe. And if you are going to try to peddle yourself off as a toy historian, toy collector, toy whatever, you need to know who Darkseid is. Plain and simple. And maybe not even necessarily know him, but you should be able to look at the name and be able to know that it's not Darkseid. That was just a huge thing that was just like digging at me.
It was digging at me also.
And I really do think he does kind of undersell people things. I mean, in the episode, was it yesterday? It wasn't. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday's episode. Well, he was buying a Barbie #1. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll talk about this later on, but I just found it really kind of hilarious that in Toy Intervention, which airs the day before Toy Hunter on a different network, what's hilarious was they featured a Barbie #1, a girl who was a collector, an older woman who had this, and in this episode they made it pretty obvious that this figure is worth about $4,000.
Yeah, he bought it for $2,900 and it sold for $35.
But he tried to get it for lower.
Yeah.
I mean, he really tried to undercut this lady who had it. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I mean, I guess my biggest problem, I didn't like that. Luna, do not go under my computer. The biggest thing that I think bugs me about him is that, and I think I mentioned this to you, or I mentioned this to someone, because whenever the show comes on, I'm tweeting about it all the time. My biggest thing that I have with this guy is he is a reseller, which I totally understand that. I mean, I watch Pawn Stars. I totally understand where they're coming from. You go into the pawn shop, and you're gonna get less than what it's worth. Because they got to turn around and they got to sell it and they got to make a profit so that they can buy other shit. I totally get that. But he's going into people's houses. They're not coming to him. They're not wanting to sell. There's no desperation. When people go in there, they want to sell stuff. When they go into the pawn shops, they want to sell stuff. Now, he goes into these people's houses, and granted, it's set up, but they don't really want to sell the stuff. I mean, I don't get the impression that they want to sell the stuff. I mean, some stuff, yeah, they probably do. Yeah. And if they're able to sell it, and if they're happy with it, that's all that matters. But if you're going in and you're gonna buy a Barbie #1, and you're gonna offer them, I don't even remember what the initial offer was, but it was low 2000s.
No, because he asked her what would you need for this, and she said $3,200.
Yeah, but didn't he counter with 27 or something like that?
Yeah, 27, and I think they ended up settling on 29, and he sold it for 35.
Right. So I mean, he made his money back, but right there, 3,500 is right where I was saying, that's about what it's actually
worth. It's $500 undersold.
Yeah, and we've seen that now. I mean, and the other thing, oh my God, the other thing was in the first episode. This one annoyed the crap. I'm sorry, Bob. Bob's just sitting there like, will you shut up, Paul?
Bob
I'm just
will
not
get his
jumping in,
chance.
talking over you.
No,
see,
Bob,
yeah, he's following the rules that you laid down, Mike.
that's because Bob actually listens.
Bob's a good boy. I love Bob.
Sorry.
Okay, so the other thing that annoyed the fuck out of me was in the first episode. Not the pilot, or I mean, I would probably guess that's a pilot, because the whole point of that episode, that Toy Hunters, was that they wanted to see
the pilot.
Yeah,
yes.
They wanted to see if they could get enough.
They wanted to see if they get enough viewers to get it right.
So that was the purpose of it, and it got picked up, which good for them. I'm happy to see a lot of collectors tuned in to watch the show. In the very first episode of Toy Hunter, it actually had Pete Sinclair, who a lot of people would know from running, well, not running, but one of the main guys for the Transformer Collector Club. And we could actually see his collection, and it was awesome because Callie Karasha, blah, 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 you could actually see her Puggle in one of the scenes, which is really cool. Yeah. I love that. But see, here's the thing. The reason Jordan went to him was because he's going through these older twin brothers' attic, and he finds a G1 Bumblebee, and he's all excited about it. Then he comes across another one that looks like Bumblebee, but it's not. And he's like, I don't know what this is. And he's freaking out. He's all excited. And I'm like, really? You don't know what that is? And I'm sitting there scratching. He's like, this could be an early prototype. This could be worth a whole bunch of money. He's filling these people with these heads. It was G1 Bumper. That's all it was.
Oh, the bump, yeah.
The one where it's like Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it never really came out, but I mean, everybody knows it, at least in the Transformers world. And that's another one where he had no idea what that was. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Something's falling.
Yeah. Keep going with your thoughts.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I was just really kind of annoyed that, the biggest one is that he's peddling off information that is just really kind of off the wall. He doesn't have facts straight very well. And in the general gist of things, if you're just going to have somebody who's just casually watching the show, they're probably not going to pick up on that stuff. We will, and that's what's probably going to annoy us. But I really honestly don't see this show lasting for too terribly long. It doesn't seem like something that's going to go.
I don't know. My other problem with it, before Bob gives his thoughts, sorry to not include you, Bob, but my other issue with Toy Hunter, first of all, it's on a network that barely markets it as far as I know. Like, I don't see the Travel Channel. I mean, yes, on their website right now it showed as, oh, this is a featured thing. But it was like, I don't watch the Travel Channel hardly at all, but it's like most channels, when they have upcoming shows, they will license their commercials out to the other networks so you could see the ads run. It's kind of like if Transformers Animated is running on Cartoon Network and Phineas and Ferb is running on Disney Channel. Disney Channel might run a Transformers Animated toy ad because they obviously can't run them on the same time, whatever else. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But it's like, I saw absolutely no advertising for this past whatever the pilot got. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here it is. This is it. And then Travel Channel's like, oh, next week on Toy Hunter. But that's pretty much it. I have not seen one single ad on any other cable channel.
Oh, it's a very obscure network. I mean, Travel Channel.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like, why is a toy collection thing on the fucking Travel Channel? If it was on A&E,
well, he travels.
On True TV, if it was on the fucking E network, it would be.
But he travels.
I know he travels, but that's not the fucking point.
No, I know. The point really is, stupid.
If you want Toy Hunter to succeed, put it up against try putting it up against something like Storage Wars, or something that would kind of like what AMC did with The Walking Dead and Kevin Smith's Comic Book Men. They put Comic Book Men on first, and then Comic Book Men was like Sunday night 9 p.m. Walking Dead was Sunday night at 10 p.m. So the crowd that's going to come to see the Walking Dead fans that are going to turn on their TV to AMC, like, I don't know, 5 minutes before Walking Dead starts, they're going to see the last 5 or 6 minutes of Comic Book Men. So you get that crowd. I'm like, oh, hey, what the hell is this? Let me check this. I don't understand why the fuck. That's my only other big complaint about Toy Hunter. I don't get why it's on the fucking Travel Channel.
It's on a. I mean, I think if it was on, even if they put it on like Sci-Fi or something like that, I think it would do a little bit better. But I think it's on a network that it's just gonna die, just because people aren't going to know about it. I mean, we know about it because we're in that collector area. I mean, one thing that's actually kind of cool is I've actually on some of my ads on some of my videos, the ads that run on it, some of them are for Toy Hunter.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and also collection intervention. So I mean, it's really kind of cool that happens, but otherwise nobody else is going to know about these.
What are your thoughts on Toy Hunter, Bob?
Okay, here we go. First off, if you guys watched, not this week's, but last week's or whatever, he actually has a girl that works for him in his office.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
It's just like American Pickers.
Yep.
And she sets up these picks for him to go, drive to New Jersey, and I got 7 guys to go look at their houses, and they're collectors, and maybe they want to sell them, but if you pressure them enough, okay, I'll sell you this crap thing that's in my closet. Anyway, the guy just drives me insane because, like Paul was saying, he doesn't know what he's doing, it seems like. Like, he has no clue. Last night, on Snake Mountain playset that he got, that he was showing people, he actually had, like, a Marvel Dragon Man. I don't know if you guys know who that is. It's from the Marvel Universe. It was Dragon Man. He actually had it sitting on top of the Snake Mountain with the other He-Man figures. Like, he was, like, cross-contaminating because this looks like a dragon. It must go with He-Man. He has no freaking clue what he's doing.
Wait. He really thought that it was with He-Man?
He never said it. It was just setting in the background when he was talking about how cool Snake Mountain was. Gotcha. But if you had, anybody that collects toys and stuff would be like, wait a minute, that's not a He-Man figure. But he had it sitting on top of Snake Mountain with all the other guys. Gotcha. And it's just, he's subtle things like that it's like, dude, you have no idea. He said that last night's those Kiss action figures, like the 12-inch figures, were better than any Star Wars collector item that he's ever seen. And
he specifically said it trumps it.
And there's no way. How does that trump a Boba Fett, from 77, from the first episode that he was selling at Comic-Con for like $14,000?
Yeah, I mean,
$17.
Does he not remember what he did 6 months ago?
Yeah,
it's like, that's the other thing.
I don't get it.
A lot of people say that whole thing. Now, I don't know for sure, but a lot of people say that whole SDCC thing with Boba Fett was set up.
It was completely.
I don't know. I don't care to speculate on it. What else, Bob?
Just the way he goes about things. He almost like pressures people into selling their stuff. Like Paul was saying, it's like, you don't know what you have here. Would you like to sell it? And they're like, not really. Well, I'll give you this much for it. It's like, what? No, wait a minute. I don't want to sell that. It's almost like the people are just showing this guy their collection, and then all of a sudden the guy wants to buy stuff from him. It's like, I don't know if it's set up that way or if it's set up to, it's like, okay, I have a collection. Can you come over here and appraise some stuff for me? Since you're so knowledgeable about figures and stuff, I would like you to give me a rough estimate of what I have. Do I have anything that's worth anything? And then next thing you know, he's buying stuff from him. It's like that poor guy with the Superman stuff. He was like showing him this, that, and then all of a sudden, here, buy this Superman puppet that nobody even would want in the first place. I'm going to give you, whatever it went for, $300, no, $500 or whatever.
Yeah.
$550, and then it's sold for $500 at the auction, which is another thing. Why would you take stuff to an auction knowing full well that people aren't going to buy? I mean, if you watch any of the other shows, auctions don't do what, the retail prices would be. People go to an auction to try to find a deal. They're not going to pay full price for something. They're going to try to get it for the least as possible amount. You take something that's worth the Barbie, he could have sold it to a collector that would have gave him $5,000 for it, easy.
I'm flipping through. I mean, we're not supposed to interrupt, but I just pulled up some of the completed listings for the #1 Barbie, and here's one that went for $3,900, $4,100, $4,600. I mean, you could have. He really could have gotten a lot more money.
Right, and going back to like that girl that works for him. You know, when he found that Star Wars speeder bike that was like a pedal car, you know, he calls her up and says, hey, you know, get on some of our Star Wars people and see if anybody would be interested. Like, they have clients and stuff that I collect this. Go out and find whatever you can of this run, you know, or I collect this. Go find some of this, you know, and when you find it, call me and I'll be interested. It's like, why didn't he do that with the stuff? He, like, completely, they dropped that part of the show. It's like, I don't know. And he went to some, you know, what was it, flea market, Franks and Sons or something?
Oh, yeah, that's out here.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, and I was telling my wife, I was like, hey, Paul's been there before, you know, because I remember you tweeting about going there, and that's where you got your most favorite Twilight figure, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, I was like, Paul's been there before. It's like, would you really want to set up a table out there? I mean, would it be worth your while? If you had like
honestly, I thought that was dumb. Yeah, I honestly thought that was dumb because I mean, most people go there and, you know, really high end stuff. You know, you get collectors that go, you know, to Frank's and you know you get some, you know, people that want to buy that kind of stuff, but you don't get a lot. I mean, it's really, I mean, and the specific reason, you know, Frankincense is really, it really is just a rip-off place. I mean, everything there. I mean, you go there, and if you want to buy like one of the new Marvel Universe figures that are like $10, you're going to pay $30 for it. I mean, everything is just ridiculously marked up there. So, people like me, I don't even really buy anything there. It's insane.
All right. Now,
sad. It drives me nuts. I tweeted at him last night.
Oh, good, Bob. What were you gonna say?
I tweeted at him last night, and I was like, dude, do you have any clue what you're doing? Or at least you got your 15 minutes of fame.
Oh, God, man.
Because he's when he said that about Star Wars, I seriously, that turned me completely. I was going to give it a chance. I watched them, everyone so far. But when he said the Kiss figures were better than anything Star Wars, no. And he didn't
I think maybe he's just saying that in terms of collectability. Kiss is very highly collectible. I know that.
But there's so much of it. I mean, there's like with Star Wars. There's so much Star Wars. There's so much Kiss. They have Kiss condoms. They have Kiss whatever. You know, Gene Simmons will put Kiss on anything if you give him money.
That is very true.
It's just like, you know, as a collector myself, I look for the stuff that's hard to find. Now with these shows, it's going to flood the market with idiots that go, hey, I have this. I bet I could get $40 for it, you know, and they're going to try to do it. Just like auction hunters and all that stuff. There's so many people showing up at these, you know, locker sales, and it's running the prices up because they have no idea what they're doing. And maybe I can get a gun from the 18th century, you know, and which are very rare to do.
I mean, the other reality shows is a whole other topic in general, but I will say about auction hunters, I think they are some of the most honest about it because you can actually do that math. Like if they bought a unit for $1,100 and they sold the contents for $19,250, you can do the math of, you know, subtracting the $1,100 from the $19,550 or, you know, $19,250, and you can see what their actual profits are. And Auction Hunters specifically says in the beginning of that show, you know, Ton and Allen are auction hunters, go across the country, blah, blah, blah. These are showing you the best finds that they've, you know. Yeah. It's not just that they're, you know, it's not just like a film crew going out with them every single day. It's specific setup things. Auction Hunters, I think, is probably the most less dramatic out of all the storage shows. I mean, they do have their rivals and they do have their this and that and everything else. But I watched an episode of that the other night just after Toy Hunter went off the air, and it was like, they know if they see certain things in the bin, they want to put $800, $1,000 on it. Last night there was an episode where people were bidding $2,500, $2,600 on a unit that should have gone for $900 to $1,000. Other people were overbidding it, and it just shouldn't have gone for that amount of money, because the whole point is you have to make money on what you buy.
But the overbidding is these new ones, guys that are watching it, sitting at home watching it going, I bet I can do that. I bet I can go to flea markets and buy, He-Man figures from the 80s and sell them for $30 a piece, or 40 or 50.
I honestly do not think that Toy Hunter, nor what we'll be talking about here in a minute, I honestly don't think Toy Hunter and Collection Intervention are going to harm the eBay market, because eBay...
You don't think?
No.
You don't think it's going to flood the market of people sitting at home going, I want to be a toy collector, and go out to all the auctions they could find, and flea markets and ghetto malls or whatever, and have yard sales of nothing but toys and collect
Get a
them?
grocery bag.
But the thing is, look at certain items on eBay. Look at the sale stuff. Say, oh God, what's a perfect example? All right, for example, one of my favorite all-time figures, just because it's simply friggin' cool. 2000, and I know this is exclusive. I'm not going retail here. I'm going exclusive. 2008 BotCon Shattered Glass Rodimus Prime goes anywhere from $350 to $550 asking price. I looked at the sold listings on it, which there are very few, because it's not like that. It's not like Rodimus. It's not like SG Rodimus is flooding eBay. But every time it's come up, it's either sold for $400 and something, or it hasn't sold for whatever amount it was. So I honestly don't think, because you don't have, toy collecting is a niche thing. It's,
But it's something, I think what Bob's saying is
people
that
can
it's
make
something
money
that
off of it.
people can,
Right.
Yeah. I think, and it's
I see
easy
that,
to do.
though. Yeah.
It's easy
I see
to
where
do.
you're coming from, Bob. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Well, the other thing is, as we said, how many people are actually going to pay attention to toy? Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the show. I'm just saying, like, outside of us, the people that know about it, Duvall, Pixel Dan, all these other toy people, Pia, all these other people, outside of us, unless it's us or the toy collecting community in general spreading the word about the show, what regular person that knows nothing about toy collecting is going to turn on the fucking Travel Channel
Hey, Mike.
Well,
to
Mike,
watch Toy Hunter?
My counterpoint for that would be, is, you're like, how many people are actually going to do it? Blah blah blah. People got together back in the '60s. People got together, and they wanted to do something.
No,
hold on.
I
Let me
understand
finish.
that,
Let
but
me
what I'm
finish.
saying is to Bob's
Let me
point
finish.
of just every Joe Blow coming out of the woodwork.
Let me
and saying-
finish.
Go ahead.
People got together through word of mouth, and they got the very first space shuttle from NASA named the Enterprise. That was from fans that did that.
Okay,
The fans watched enough of this pilot episode to get it picked up.
I understand that.
Mike,
That's
I
all
understand that, but to counterpoint Bob's point of every Joe Blow is going to now think, oh, my collection's worth money. Oh, I can go to this yard sale. How many people are going to actively watch, in general, outside of the people that are already watching? How many new viewers are they going to get each week is my thing here.
Did you see the Get Glued? When you get the sticker for it, and then, it comes up with all the comments?
Yeah.
All these schmoes are going, I didn't know toys were worth so much. I bet I could go do that. If you go back and look, and I'm not just making this up, so many people were saying, I would love to have that job. I didn't know about the show, and I heard it from somebody else.
Yeah. I know word of mouth is
I'm just
very,
afraid
very
it's going to
powerful.
flood the market. And, I know a certain person that after they saw one of these shows, they're going, that makes me want to kind of sell some of my stuff, Paul.
Well, no, it wasn't after that. It was after the intervention show.
And you were like, how many other people are going to do that? And then all of a sudden you got this mass rush of collectors going, I better thin out my stuff, because that show makes me think then it floods the market. I mean, that's all I'm saying is then all these people are going to be, I guarantee next yard sales that you guys go to, I'm sure you don't go to a whole lot, but Paul, you might, go, next time you're driving around and you see yard sales, how many 80s collectible toys are you going to see? Everybody's going to bring them out of their closets, go to their grandma's house. I used to have that toy when I was a kid, and bring it out and try to sell it for, $150, missing the arms and the legs, but it's collectible. It's from the 80s.
Oh, I know. But at the same...
That's part of the difference, though. I mean, people don't recognize, that just because something is old, it's not, if it's in bad condition, it's not collectible.
But a lot of schmucks out there are going to try to think it is because they got a toy from the 80s watching these shows.
Absolutely.
Right. And then they're going to go to a buyer, or they're going to go to a flea market, or they're going to go somewhere, or they're going to go to a comic shop, and the comic shop is going to tell them, no, I'm sorry, this is not it. We all know, and
but
as
on the
Jordan,
show,
well, as Jordan harps on it, and as the one that we're going to talk about here in a minute harps on it, it's all about condition, especially mint toys.
Right.
Loose toys, it isn't so much, but the mint toys, it is. Toy Hunter, for me, I will continue to watch it as long as it's on. I just have to remember it's channel 61 and not 64, because 61 is the fucking travel channel and 64 is sci-fi. Because I turned on sci-fi last night and I was like, wait a second, where the hell's... Oh, that's right, it's the fucking travel channel.
Yeah.
So you got to watch Haunted Collector?
Briefly, like 2 seconds. I watch
it. Sorry, but I'm a ghost hunter. I have to watch it.
Yes, I know.
People ask me about it all
will you
the
continue
time.
to watch Toy Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, I'll continue to watch it. I'll continue to probably tweet about it, and people will probably see me and be like, "What the fuck's he talking about?" And then check it out, and there'll be more fans watching the show.
Yes. What about you, Bob? Or did the Kiss comment pretty much kill your interest? Or
no,
are you gonna...
I will watch it and follow him on Twitter just to tear him apart because it's fun to hate.
Wow.
Haters love to hate, and when he said that, it's almost like a stalker thing now. I'm waiting for him to screw up enough that I could throw stuff at him because he's an idiot and he doesn't deserve a TV show.
All right, on that note, here is the collection intervention teaser, trailer, audio, whatever the hell. We'll be back after that.
Wow! He has 30,000 comics in our home.
There's nowhere in this house where there's no Star Wars.
Now might be the time to sell. We just need more space.
This is about new doors, new life. No one says you can't collect anymore. The goal is for you to live in your house with your beautiful collection, but for there to be room.
Collection Intervention premieres Tuesday, August 14th at 10. Part of Sci-Fi's Tuesday Night Originals.
All right. To close out, we're going to have a discussion on Sci-Fi's new show, Collection Intervention. Okay, before we get into this, I need to talk about the host, or hostess, of this, Elise Lurie, whatever the hell her name is.
She's hot. Who cares about her name?
She is very hot. For 44 years old, yes, she is hot.
Yeah.
Now, just to give some history on her, she is a certified appraiser and is a New York State licensed auctioneer. Okay, that's what Wikipedia on Wikipedia says that she is. As far as Collection Intervention, it's a show where she goes around to different people who are essentially toy hoarders. I honestly don't think the title of the show fits what happens in the show, because there was one, the poor Catwoman guy. Oh my God. First of all, his wife was fugly. Second of all, she was a bitch. She hated his collecting habits. She hated the fact that he was a toy collector. She hated his collection. And I understand the Catwoman guy, they were in debt. I get that. He was essentially pulling a Sean Long and going out and buying stuff that he couldn't afford, blah, 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 everything else. I understand that. That's fine. But in all essence, your spouse should at least, if she doesn't like it, fine. She should at least tolerate and support you in your hobbies. That's the thing. But the whole point of Collection Intervention is Elise Lurie goes around and pretends to be a therapist, even though she's a licensed auctioneer, to these people that have either houses filled with toys, and not just like a display collection. I mean, like the Catwoman guy, his entire garage was boxed up Catwoman toys.
Well, the Star Wars,
the Star Wars stuff was displayed. It was all
nicely.
very nice. Yes, yes, it was.
But it comes to a point where it starts taking over their life, and
Right.
no matter where they're at, if they see something Star Wars, they have to buy it, no matter what.
Right, right,
And they don't
exactly.
even know what they have.
Right. And I understand that the Star Wars lady, she, might have been a lonely child, and the Star Wars figures were her friends.
Oh, yeah.
Quote unquote friends. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I just think that this show should be titled something else. It should be titled like Toy Hoard or Hoarding Toys. It's not a real intervention because Elise is not qualified to be a therapist.
Well, she's going in and she's intervening and she's getting them to sell stuff, which is, that's kind of one of the steps, I guess. I mean, I agree with you. It is, in my mind, it's sensationalizing a problem. Now, the toy collecting that they have, and I'll use collecting very loosely, but their toy collecting and their collections are masking a much more serious problem, and they're not even focusing on that. And I think they use the word intervention because it doesn't sound as dirty as hoarder does. I think there's much more of a negative connotation with hoarder than intervention. I mean, it just sounds, I mean, when you say it, it just sounds more mean, I guess. But it's only an intervention in the fact that this chick goes in there and she gets him to try and sell some stuff. I mean, you're absolutely right, Mike. That one girl, she's crying. She's holding Ewoks in her hands, loose Ewoks that are just in some bin, and she's calling them her friends. And she doesn't want to sell them because, these are my friends. And when they're at the auction, like towards the end of the episode, when, she convinced them to auction them, she stopped the auction because she didn't think the auctioneer was giving the toys proper...
Enough respect,
enough respect. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. This is just... These people have so many more issues.
It's like the guy with the Matchbox cars. Did you watch that one?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was that was 2 nights ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he was physically getting sick at the sale. He's like, I'm done with this. I can't do it because people are trying to buy my things and they don't have respect for it. And it's like these people have major issues besides the hoarding of the toys.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they have mommy daddy issues or something.
Yeah, when I was in college, I majored in psychology, and without knowing too much, I mean, you're absolutely right, Bob. I mean, these people have issues that are much more, they're trying to fill something. Like you said, maybe their mom wasn't around, maybe their dad wasn't around. They're using their toys to fill this niche.
But a lot of us collectors do that same thing. I mean, I started collecting.
Absolutely.
I started collecting because I miss my childhood, and me and Mike both have the same kind of thing. We had stuff, and it was taken away from us without us having any involvement in it.
Right.
So it's like we're trying to fill that void. You got back into it for a certain reason, Paul. You were a grown-up business suit, guy, and then all of a sudden you reverted back.
The only time I've ever seen him in a suit is at BotCon.
No, I could show you some pictures if you want.
Oh God, no thanks.
You know what I mean? You had a 9-to-5 business suit and tie job. I mean, then something in your mind made you go, I don't want to be that person. I want to be who you are now, the collector, the YouTube guy. And what
world famous YouTuber up to bottom.
Yeah, but there's something that comes to point. I'm sure Fran, I'm your wife Vern says to you sometimes, Paul, whoa, enough's enough. How many Star Trek Next Generation playsets do you need?
See, and here's the thing. She and I have ground rules though. My collection stays in my office.
Yeah,
it doesn't encroach in the rest of the house. I mean, all of us. I mean, we're all trying to fill in something that we missed out on as a kid. We love having that You know, when I bought the bridge for Star Trek The Next Generation, I sat there and I played with that for a half an hour just pushing buttons because I did that when I was a kid, and we all do that. I mean, I remember when I got one of my more popular videos is a very old one, and I won't take it down because it captures something in it, is when I reviewed the Encore Skylinks. I tell the story about how my parents, you know, when we were young, we were poor. They couldn't buy me stuff. I found a box from a G1 Skylinks in a garbage dumpster, and I played with that. You know, I mean, so we are all doing it, but we all have enough stable ground. Exactly. There's a little voice in our mind that says, all right, this is getting a little retarded. And that's the voice that has me. I mean, you mentioned this in the last segment about me selling things. That's the voice that has me sitting there saying, okay, I got all these Transformer the movie toys that I don't have out on display. I have them in a storage bin. That's not a collection. That's one thing that this girl on Toy Intervention says that really resonates with me. It's not a collection if it's in a closet somewhere, in a bin, in a garage or whatever, not being enjoyed.
Right.
That's what resonated with me. Exactly. You know, I mean, I have my own storage unit, and there's stuff in there that, you know, that I'm going to go through, and I'm going to sell it off because I would rather somebody else have that and be able to enjoy it, because right now all it's doing is sitting in a, you know, dark, hot storage unit. Well, it's not hot, it's air conditioned. But I mean, you know what I mean. So that's the part in our brain that turns things off and says we're done. But these people don't have that. And I actually know two people that are going to be on Toy Intervention. I personally know two of them.
Yeah.
One of them comes up next week in the Transformers segment. His name is David. He lives out here. He comes to our LA meetups, and I know the guy. I know David. And he runs a website that's called Toy Hell. They use that in the promo, and I've talked to him, and one of the things he's just really trying to do is just try to draw business towards himself. You know, so it's like, I don't think he really wants to get out of it. And the other person is Sean Long. He's actually going to be on a show.
Oh, God.
I thought you were joking about that.
No, I'm absolutely not. I mean, he came back from Comic-Con, and they were doing filming, and he was talking about that. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, filming? And then he started talking about a collector show, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden, the whole Toy Intervention show thing started getting talked about, and I'm like, and I just put two and two together. And there it is. And if you watch one of the promos, I think it was not from the week that we just saw 2 days ago. It was like the promo for after the first episode. You can
see somebody shaking real bad. And
well, no, you don't.
Blur, and it's like, oh, there's Sean Long.
No, that's not it. But you can hear his voice. So I mean, I heard it and I instantly recognized it. He's not going to be labeled as a Transformer collector because he doesn't have that much anymore. I mean, he's got a lot of Marvel stuff and Hot Toy stuff. And
he's got Batman figures, and he's
got Batman. I mean, talking about people with, you know, so I don't know about all these other people, like the people that we saw a couple days ago, the people that we saw in the first episode. I don't know about those people. I know about Sean.
But after she leaves, they're not fixed. That's the whole point. They're not fixed after she leaves.
They've sold stuff, which means they've just made room to maybe buy more stuff. And that's what I see. That's what I see Sean doing. And he says that he's going to be focusing his collection, that he's, you know, only going to concentrate on high-end stuff, which is what she kind of, you know, preaches in these episodes. You know, if you're going to be a collector, focus on the stuff that you really love. And that's what I've seen him kind of posting about. He's not going to be buying a whole bunch of random stuff, but Sean was a hoarder. We've seen his house or his apartment, at least I have, you know, and it's ridiculous. There's no room for stuff for him to do anything. There's nothing. And they cleaned it up. They got it all fixed up so that now it looks good, so that when camera crews come in, it looks a little bit more nice to the eyes. But I personally know the issues that Sean has, and having somebody come in and give him attention by putting him on a TV show like that, is not what somebody like that needs.
No,
It's just going to make him worse.
It's going to make him worse. It's going to further, again, psychology. It's going to further delude his mentality into thinking and glorifying what he does by having all these people like, oh my God, Sean, you're a movie star. You're a TV star. It's going to inflate his ego even more to think that he can get away with this stuff. And then all it's going to do is make him, at some point in time, get a bigger place and have more shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And it's very sad because that's what this show does. It's glorifying the entire experience and not focusing on the actual problem. Like you said, I think, Bob, you said this. They're not fixing the problem.
Yeah,
they're just minimizing it by selling shit. Now he's got more money to buy shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
I can see in the. I'm sorry to cut you off, Bob. I can see in the case of the Catwoman guy, where they were actually in debt.
Yeah.
I can see that possibly.
I don't want to get into too much of personal stuff, but Sean was in that exact same position.
Right.
You know, he's lost a lot. That's all I'll say. I mean, I don't want to trash.
Right.
him.
No. Right. Yeah. We're not here to talk about schlongs.
Right. Schlongs. But I mean, he's in the show, so we have to talk about.
I know. Well, it hasn't aired yet.
It hasn't aired yet.
Wait till that episode starts.
Yeah, let's have fun with that one.
Hey guys, I'm on Collection Adventure.
You can buy more speed. Yay!
But that's the thing. I mean, I see all of his friends already doing it. They're already glorifying it, and it just continues that sickness.
And again, I don't understand why the hell this show is on the network it's on. Sci-fi, sci-fi, whatever the fuck it's called now. It's essentially outside of bad, horrible octopi movies or Sharktopus movies
or ghost shows.
Well, okay. Let's not badmouth the ghost shows.
No, I'm not badmouthing.
No, you can't. Go ahead. I badmouth them all the time.
I'm not badmouthing. I'm just saying that whenever I turn that channel on, there's always promos for ghost shows. They got more ghost shows on there than anything I've ever seen.
I don't again. Collection Intervention to me is
A&E channel or something.
For the most part, it's about a couple. Yes, there are a couple of times where the woman is the collector versus the man, but there are probably going to be more often times that the man is the collector. Yeah. I don't understand why it's not on like Spike TV. Spike is TV for guys. Or, I wouldn't put it on A&E because I don't think it can hold up against all the other stuff A&E has. I just don't get why it's on the science fiction channel.
They're the ones that pick them up, dude. I mean, it's I'm sure they go to the big networks and they just get turned down.
Well, I wonder if they pay those people to be on the show.
Yeah, they do.
So they pay you money to come into your house and film.
Yes.
So they're like.
They have to.
See, that's why I can't say that it's real, because if you're getting paid for it, it's not reality TV if somebody's paying you to act that way.
Well,
do they amp it up some to make it more drama?
I mean, we because we know Sean, we'll be able to watch that episode and we'll be able to know if he's putting on an act for the camera. Yeah. We'll be able to tell. We don't know these other people.
His whole life is an act.
Yeah.
But
a bad act.
You said it, not me.
But
here's the thing with all reality television. You look at Big Brother, Survivor, whatever, all these actual reality shows and all that stuff. They get paid. The house guests. I mean, I have
really reality then.
Well, that's just the genre that was created so many years ago.
It's reality, but it's
also
enhanced.
Yeah,
it's enhanced. I mean, I remember watching. I remember there was I don't know if I would call it a conspiracy, but there was a whole big to do over. The fuck?
It's not me.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's banging on the side of my house. What the fuck?
It's the it's the retarded ghost.
What the hell? It's the retarded ghost. Let me out! Let me out! What the fuck? Hold on. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
What?
Go ahead, Mike.
What did you think of Collection Intervention, Bob? You haven't really had a chance to talk about it, but what did you think?
I think it's an okay show. The concept is okay, that people go way overboard and they need an intervention of saying, okay, there's an underlying problem, which she gets to, and how we can thin out the herd of your collection. The basis is okay, but what about after she leaves? The people aren't fixed. Do they go to therapy? Do they... Something has to change in their mind.
I gotta go out and yell at somebody. I'll be right back.
You know, like with your situation, Mike, you had to downsize because you kept moving all the time.
Right.
You didn't want to take all your shit with you every time you had to move.
No, because I moved like 4 times within 8 months.
Right, and it's like, okay, in your situation, you were done. Okay, I don't need this stuff anymore. Get it out of here. You know, it was a necessity kind of thing.
Right.
Once these people get to the lowest low they possibly can, will they be able to bring themselves out of it? I need to sell my stuff because I have, you know, like that girl, the Star Wars girl. She had no idea what she had. She was like, "Oh, maybe $50,000," and the girl was like, "No, try $150,000."
Yeah.
It's like they don't even know how much money they're spending or what the stuff's worth. That is a major problem.
And the thing of it is with the Star Wars girl, the thing of it was she had that life size. I know. It was Captain Rex, Commander Rex, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Some blue stormtrooper. You know.
It was Rex.
Yeah, she had that life size thing. Now I have seen, because when I used to mall hop, when I used to be a mall rat back in my youth. I've seen stuff at like Sharper Image and all these other like exclusive elite stores of life-size Spider-Man, Optimus Prime, whatever. Would I ever spend that amount of money to have that to put in my house just to have it sit there?
Not $1,500, or whatever.
No, not at all. Absolutely. Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'd rather just spend $50 on one of those fat heads and just stick it up on my wall. There you go. There's a Spider-Man for you.
Exactly.
But but the thing about that Rex standee was, they actually held that auction at Obi-Wan Ranch or whatever the hell the auction house is, Obi Farm or whatever the hell it is.
It's for Star Wars collectibles.
Right, it's for Star Wars collectibles, and she, the Star Wars chick, not the people with Collection Intervention, but the person they were intervening on, she actually knew Steve, whatever his name is, that runs that place, and he actually bought that from her as a gift, like, hey, yes, I'm helping you out, buying this from you, but at the same time, you can still come back here anytime and see it. It's not like, yes, it's not yours anymore, but at least you know that it's going to a good home. So the one that really kind of irked me was the whole Barbie thing.
Oh,
that was just freaking weird.
That was
she was weirdo.
That was like the Beaver's mom going insane.
The thing about the Barbie
goes nuts.
Well, the thing about the Barbie episode for me, or the part of the episode, because I think they have like 2 different sets of they have 2 different sets of people. They have one set and another set. First set was a family that had a wife that collected Barbie stuff. Second one was a guy who collected
G.I. Joe's.
G.I. Joe and Matchbox. Whatever. The Barbie chick, her collecting got so bad that she had crap in her teenage son's closets.
He had 3 shirts in the closet. He had 3 shirts hanging, and everything else was Barbie.
I know. But see, that's the thing. It's like, I can kind of see where Collection Intervention comes in as far as, as Paul said, people needing an intervention and saying, hey, what else? But I can also see your point, Bob, is like, okay, well, what's going to happen 6 months down the road? Well, hopefully a couple of years down the road, the 2 teenagers will have grown up by then and moved out. But
then it gets worse because now her kids are gone, and she's trying to fill that void, like Paul said. You're trying to fill a void.
Right.
My kids are gone, empty nest syndrome, full Barbies, because it makes me feel good. I could surround myself with something I love.
Right, but
my kids are gone.
I could never, and I know Paul said that, he and Vern have an understanding. All his stuff is up in his office. It doesn't really invade the rest of the house.
But if Vern left, what would happen, Paul?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Well, I'm just saying, hypothetical.
That's a fair question. I mean,
there's nobody there to tell you, Paul, calm down. You don't need Jurassic Park toys now. You don't have the room, but in your mind, you really want them.
That's a very valid question. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I am a very impulse-driven person. That's one thing that drives Vern absolutely nuts about me. She hates it. I mean, she really does. I'll literally just get I don't know what's the phrase. I'll just get like a desire or something, to buy it. I'll get a bug up my ass, and I'll without. She's like, I don't even know why you're asking me, because you're just gonna do it anyhow. And it's true, I mean, like I'll ask her just because I kind of want her to agree to it, so I don't feel bad. But it's already something in my mind where I've decided I want to do it, and then.
But if she said no,
if she says no, then I usually get bent out of shape, and she's
right,
like, see, that's why I don't like telling you no.
Exactly. Or if she says yes, and then she goes back and go, you really need another one? Well, you said it was okay to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's that thing in everybody, though. I'm not just picking on you, Paul. It's on all of us. My wife controls my spending, because I would go crazy if I didn't have somebody to play with, somebody to bounce off of. She keeps me in check, because I would just go out and every time I get paid, I need a new collection. I need a new toy. I saw Paul review this. I want to review it too. She goes, Bob, you don't really need it. So, that's all I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing with my collecting when I was collecting, is that I would only buy, as far as just regular retail stuff, I would only buy the characters I actually wanted to have.
Well,
now, the only exception to that for me was Mighty Mugs, because they are so cool. I like a lot of the characters they had. I bought I know I had all the Transformers. I had all, even though there's only 4, I had all the G.I. Joe ones. I was starting to get into all the Star Wars ones. And I had a good percentage of Marvel ones. Like, a lot of the famous Marvel characters. That was my only, okay, I will buy every single one of these things. I have never been so completionist that I have to go out and buy every single piece from, let's just say, for example, 1986 Transformers line. I don't have to buy every single toy. I'll buy the ones that I want. Same thing with today. Like, that Fall of Cybertron Optimus, to me, it's fucking ugly. It just is. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks in truck mode. I don't like the way it looks in robot mode. The War for Cybertron toy was so much better.
But that's how it looks in the game.
I know. I don't like how it looks in the game either.
That's what everybody bitches about me, and I say the same thing. I don't like how he looks there either.
But it's like for me, I can't. The way I limit myself, because I'm single and whatever else, but the way I limited myself was, okay, I'm only going to go after the Transformers characters I absolutely love. So if I have a Shockwave from G1, from Animated, from Fall of Cybertron, fine, whatever, that's,
Well, let me ask you this, without being too, I'm going to go there, but without being too much of a dickhead, how much of that, though, is based on your financial situation, though? If you were in a position, because everybody knows that,
right.
Whatever.
I've talked about it. I'm not in
okay. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Financial situations right now.
In the past, if you had a steady, for example, income, where money wasn't all that. I don't want to say that Mike and I.
All right, let's rewind to 2008 when I was still getting a consistent amount of income every 2 weeks.
Okay. Were you still buying with the same limitations?
No, but at the same time, I wasn't buying everything. I was buying the stuff I liked, but I liked a lot of stuff back then. Like all of the majority of the animated toys, like Voyager Prime, Leader Megatron, obviously Rodimus, Jazz, all that stuff. I had a pretty decent TFA collection. Where I kind of got hung up in the beginning when I first started collecting in 2008 was, even though I had the extra money, I was going after hugely amount of expensive eBay stuff.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I own up to it. Between Blaster, Soundwave, G1 Hasbro Galvatron, which are the totally wrong fucking colors, and a G1 84 Optimus Prime. Between those 4 figures plus the cassettes for Blaster and Soundwave, I spent probably $1,600 on those 5 pieces. Over time, with a guy that allowed me to do a payment plan, I spent $800 on the 2008 BotCon set. But that's when I had money coming in.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think I still would go after, like I said, the only one that I didn't really limit myself on was the Mighty Mugs. Because Mighty Mugs, come on, they're unless you're talking the exclusive ones, they're anywhere from $7 to $20, $30. They're not that bad of a thing. Usually you can get them at Toys R Us for $12. I mean, they're not that expensive. So, I would go out and buy as many of those because I liked them. I thought they were super cool. And at the time, I was watching a YouTube show called Superhero Mugs. I'll send you guys a link later if you're interested. But it's one of those things where that show, I'm like, oh my God, what are these toys? I have to have these things. Right. And I just thought they were really super cool. With the whole situation with MattyScalper.com and Digital River and all that crap, just dealing with them had nothing to do with the toys, but just dealing with just shitty business practices is actually what got me out. Now, a buddy of mine who was on the last special episode where he talked about exploring fandoms, Dave Draper from ToyWorldOrder.com, I had told him once off air, I said, because of all my Matty issues, I said, I'm not going to the toy stores. I'm not going to Walmart. Whenever I go to Walmart and Target, I never go to the toy aisles anymore. I have no interest. I honestly have no, I'll look at the pictures online, and I think they're super cool, but I have no interest to walk down a toy aisle ever again. And that is all stemmed from my dealings with MattyCollector.com and Digital River.
You might want to speak to somebody about that.
You're reverse order.
I'm not saying I hate toys. Yeah. I'm saying that I just choose not to go okay, when the first generation stuff came out, War for Cybertron Optimus, Soundwave, all that stuff, I went to the toy aisle every time I went into Walmart and Target because I wanted to see what they had. And now I just don't care to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't care about it. Like I said, I will look at pictures online and I think, oh, hey, that toy is super cool. Fall of Cybertron Optimus toy is a tool. I would go, I can look at stuff online and I'm like, hey, that's super cool. I have no desire to have it in my collection. Even characters that I bought that I thought I was going to like, I would, even before my financial situation happened, it would be like, okay, these are, sitting amongst my collection or sitting on my desk or they're displayed on my little stand here where my monitor sits and whatever else. And it'd be like a week later, it's like, I don't give a shit about this figure. And I would go up to the comic shop and sell it to them. Right. I just didn't, I don't know. Something happened to me between 2010 when I lost the job and, of course, the financial situation, but something mentally happened to me to where it was like, I started not caring anymore.
I think, again, here, psychology. Honestly, I think it was your mind started associating so many bad things
with Matty.
Matty was part of it, but now you look at your financial situation and all of that put together. Yeah. I don't think it's just Matty. I think it really is just the negative.
Matty was the tipping point.
Well, I'm sure it probably was, but like, you know, I mean, you didn't have the money to buy it, so you started kind of resenting the people that maybe did have the money to buy this stuff. So you just start.
No. You're not
going
to go psychoanalyst on me.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's a possibility where you looked at him and you just isolated.
I'm going to say this right now with a straight face. I was never jealous that you got whatever you got, or that Ben got whatever he got, or that Spada got whatever he got, or that Bob.
Not so much that. Maybe jealous of the fact that we still could.
No, not even. Not at all.
I think it was like you didn't have that feel good when you open up a toy. You play with it, like Paul said. He played with it for half an hour. You were just like, set it on your desk. Okay, now what? What's the point? It's like, what do I do with it? It's just there.
It's kind of like for me where I lost interest in doing actual YouTube videos, where most of the stuff I upload now is like video versions of the podcast that we do here at Geekcast Radio Network. I just lost interest in reviewing stuff. I lost interest in talking about, the toys that I had. And again, it goes to the fact that, like I said, within 6-8 months a year, I moved like 4 or 5 different times. And right now, I don't have... I went from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't have the space.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I don't have the space is because back when my mom was still living here in Louisville, was that she had gotten a settlement from my grandmother had passed away in 2007. My grandfather had passed away in 2000, but my grandmother passed away. They had to settle the estate, and my mom got some money from the estate. And I told her, I said, one of the things I really, really want is a decent computer desk for my computer equipment and all the, I wasn't into podcasting just yet then, but I wanted something that wasn't just this tiny, piece together Walmart thing where you have to basically scrunch up your knees to sit there in front of the computer and lean over like I am the freaking hunchback of Notre computer or whatever, so I told her, I said, that's what I want. And she went out and she got me a 9 by 6 foot desk. It's 2 pieces, cost us $700. And that's really, like, if I ever move again, I have to make sure that my living room is big enough to hold this desk, because I'm never getting rid of this desk. Because this was like a last minute, not last minute, but it was like a last present from my grandparents and all that stuff. So that's, part of the space issue is my desk. And yes, my desk is big enough where I can put, toys and stuff on. But at the other apartment, I had 3 or 4 or 5 different shelves. I had different this, different that, but that was part of my thing. And we've gone so far off track of talking about the TV show, but I understand.
But it kind of leads into the whole premise of the show, that, there are underlining problems.
Right.
That this show, it doesn't focus on them, but they're there. And they don't mention them. It's like the big giant elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about the psychological issues that these people have.
I think Elise, whatever her name is, the hot blonde chick, I think she, from what I've seen of the show,
we're just gonna call her the hot toy chick.
Yeah, the hot toy. Yeah. There you go, the hot toy chick. I think she, in her presentation, she can, kind of be a mediator between the couples and stuff like that. But I don't think she's qualified to do anything more than mediation. Because she's a,
not even mediation. She's just there, and you can see it when they start, like with that, when the Star Wars and diecast guys started getting like sick and kind of getting annoyed with the whole thing. She kind of, you could see her like getting awkward.
Yeah.
When arguing happens, the hot toy chick just kind of gets awkward with things. She doesn't know how to respond to that stuff, and that it's television. We don't know what they cut out and what isn't actually being shown to us.
Right. Now, are you guys going to continue watching Collection Intervention?
Oh, yeah.
So we're all glutton for punishments here, huh? Aren't we?
It's, and like I said, it's, that show, one thing I have learned about that. Well, I don't want to say I've learned it, but it's, it kind of reiterated it in my mind that, a collection should be enjoyed. If it's in a closet, if it's in a box, it's not being enjoyed, you know, and most of the stuff that I had that wasn't, you know, I mean, there's two, I look at it this way. There's two types of collectors, really. There's, you know, people who collect for the enjoyment of it, and then there's people who collect because they want a really high-end kind of collection. I mean,
like an investment, 401k.
Yeah, and that look at it as an investment. Yeah, you know, I mean, I have, with the exception of that stupid Supreme Optimus Prime from Transformers Animated, to the best of my knowledge, I have all of the Transformers Animated figures. And those aren't really worth much. You know, I mean, that's not a high-end thing for me, but it's something that I enjoy displaying, and that's what it comes down to. Right. If I were to ever if I was to put those away and put them in a box, I would probably, I mean, I should sell them, because you're not enjoying them at that point. In a collection, for whatever reason, whether you're buying all mint in box Transformers from, you know, 1986, and if you want to have those displayed, that's what you enjoy, good on you. That's your collection. My collection is opened up out and everybody can see it. So that's but one thing, like I said, that I've gotten from the show is that if you're not enjoying your collection, if it's locked away somewhere, you need to just let it go.
Yeah, I agree.
Then
Bob, any final thoughts?
Like Sean, who just buy a whole bunch of toys and then put them in a room.
Here we go. Let's not go there.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's got a whole nother thing. I mean, like he does. I don't know.
I can't wait to that airs. We're gonna rip that apart. I can't wait.
God.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right, so before we get into a whole schlong thing, you guys, Bob, do you have any final thoughts on either Collection Intervention or Toy Hunter?
I say, people out there that are listening that think that they see these shows and want to be like that. I want to be that guy. That's my job, to buy, sell high-end collectibles. Just don't do it, because, like Paul told me a long time ago, you already missed the boat. You know, it's like if you see people doing YouTube videos, I want to do that. I want to make money on YouTube by making videos of Transformers. You missed the boat. It's already, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. I mean, that's one of the things Paul first told me. So watching these shows, there's already a market. There's already these new people coming in. You're just going to get laughed at and not having any clue. Well, eBay says it's worth this, but that's eBay. That's not real life. You know what I mean? It's like, not what you're actually going to get.
And I think that's the fallacy of eBay, is that,
it's
Paul pointed out. Well, Paul pointed this out to me, and other people have pointed out to me that in order to do research for what stuff is going for on eBay, not the asking price, you have to look at the fucking completed listings, people.
Right.
Look at the really completed listings. Look at what's sold. That way you can kind of judge where to start your bidding. Now, if you want to start your bidding at 99 cents and it's a 5-day auction and it gets, whatever the item is, gets anywhere upwards of $200, $300, $400 plus, that's all well and good. But don't sit there and put a buy it now for, $45.99 for a toy that's $28.70 on a certain website, or you know what I mean? Don't
or
sit there and mark
going out
shit
bragging about buying something for $100 at a con and then trying to sell it for $400 on eBay.
Yeah.
People are going to laugh at you and go, wait a minute, you just bought it like a week ago for $100. Why should I pay you $300 extra than what you just paid for it?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, so eBay is like, you can't go off listing of that. Your stuff isn't worth what eBay says it is. Yeah. You have to go to what the real fair market value is worth.
Absolutely.
Look at the price guides. Look at this and that. And I'm just afraid those shows are going to flood the market with complete idiots that want to think they can strike it rich, real fast if they find the number one Barbie. Oh, I paid $50 for it. I'm going to get $5,000 for it. Who's going to buy it? If people wanted it so bad, there wouldn't be any on eBay. If there's 5 on eBay, why is there still 5 on eBay if people want them so bad? There should be none, because they're all sold out.
That's very true.
Yeah. And it's like, it just drives me nuts when people say that. Oh, I got something really worth a lot. You look on eBay, there's 3 pages of the same toy.
Yeah.
No, people aren't buying them because there's 3 pages of them. If there was like 2, maybe, but not, like 2 items, not 3 pages worth of items of the same figure.
Yeah.
people aren't buying them because there's 3 pages of it. It's not rare. It's not like anybody could go to eBay and buy one now. You don't have anything that's worth anything.
Right. I mean, I tell people this all the time. What something is worth and what something people, or what people are willing to pay are 2 totally different things.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, I ran into that when I bought my Fort Max. People are asking $2,000 for it. And I'm like, no, when the completed listings of it only show that the things have been selling for at most like $1,100, I'm not going to pay you that much more for it. Don't be stupid. I mean, be reasonable with your stuff. I mean, if you see something that's selling for it, people are smart for the most part. I mean, they do stupid things, but I got this one guy who I talk to. He lives by me, and it's really kind of annoying. He always messages me. He texts me. He's like, "Hey, Paul, is $20 a good price for this?" I'm like, "Look it up."
Yeah.
Well, I just thought I would ask you. Well, I'm gonna look it up.
Well,
yeah.
So
why don't you do it?
Yeah. I sold on eBay for $20, so I can get $20 out of it.
Well,
all right.
No, I mean, it's like he'll want to buy a figure that he sees at a local collector shop or something.
Right.
They'll have it for $20, and it'll be like, Paul, is this worth $20? I'm like, go on eBay and search the completed listings. See if it's selling for that, or go on there even not even completed listings. Go in there, just search and see if you can find it cheaper.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for our discussion on Toy Hunter and Collection Intervention. I don't know if either one of them are going to last. I hope that they do, but I don't know if either one will last past the first season.
It gives us something to talk about.
I see I see Collector Intervention lasting longer than Toy Hunter, only because not because it's better than the show.
She's hotter.
She's hotter, yeah. But one thing, I mean, you see like all these intervention shows on TV,
yeah,
and people watch those because they want to see other people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They feel better about themselves looking at somebody else in the gut.
I don't necessarily see that happening with Toy Hunter. Plus, Toy Hunter is on a more obscure network. We talked about this before. Why would you think of a toy collecting show being on a travel channel? That's like me putting, Home Improvement on the Weather Channel.
The Food Network. Yeah, Food Network or something.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But
nothing in this, nothing in the entertainment business makes any sense if you really think about it. So, with that, that's going to do it for this special edition of ToyCast. Hopefully, we'll be back soon with episode 97, where Optobotomus here is going to join me and Spada, and we're going to talk about some more toys. We will catch you next time.
You can now hear the GeekCast Radio Network while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free-use and talk mobile app available for your smartphone. And when you download Stitcher to hear GeekCast Radio, you'll have a chance to win money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. During registration, hit the promo code box and enter GeekCast Radio, all one word, to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episodes of the shows will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand, no syncing. It's Stitcher Smart Radio. Don't forget to enter promo code GeekCast Radio when you register.